There is nothing quite like the fall. I love that brisk morning when you walk outside and the cold feels good. And pretty soon we'll be celebrating holidays with people that we miss and love. There's nothing like a warm fire on a cold day, and this time of year demands a beverage that just won't cut it any other time of the year. Hey friends, my name is George Gianaris. I'm a chef of 36 years, and if you're here, it's because you like to eat healthy, save money, and cook like a pro. And today I'm gonna make some unique fall holiday cocktails for you, along with my favorite non-alcoholic holiday drink. But let's talk a little bit more about alcohol right now. Is alcohol bad for you? Yes, it is. But there are a few things you can do to have a better experience when you're having a couple of drinks during the holidays. One of the reasons why you don't feel very good after you have a few drinks with or without alcohol is because most of the drinks that you have are loaded with terrible ingredients. I mean, look at what's in your favorite pina colada ingredient, Coco Lopez. Do I ever drink alcoholic beverages? Maybe. Here's what I find interesting. Sometimes I'll wake up the next day with a hangover and I haven't even had a drop of alcohol, but I have had an excessive amount of sugar. So the key is to not only get an overall picture of what you're eating, but to monitor how much sugar you're taking in. With some healthy ingredients and some moderation, you will have a much better holiday experience. Let's begin. Gluhwein, or hot spice wine, is usually made with red wine. Today, we're going to make it with white. The best Gluhwein I ever had was a red Gluhwein that I drank in Austria, in Vienna, in front of the town hall during a Christmas festival. Red Gluhwein, hit and miss. Not everybody loves it. But I haven't met anybody who doesn't like a white Gluhwein, and that's the one we're going to be making today. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my friend Chuck and Teeny for giving me the recipe. This is a local Riesling that I'm going to be using for our Gluhwein. It's a semi-dry Riesling made by a good friend of mine and a local winemaker, Anthony Napa, who is the first winemaker in New York State to make an entirely organic wine. Now, I know it might be kind of challenging to get your hands on a wine like this, so here's an alternative that is not so hard to find. This is a good reference for the type of Riesling you should be using to make a decent Gluhwein. It's not terribly sweet and it is beautifully aromatic, but whatever Riesling you choose, make sure that you use a Riesling that you would love to drink. Add a 750 milliliter bottle to an Instapot or crock-pot, or in a pot on a really low flame. Quarter cup or 62 milliliters of fresh organic orange juice, 40 milliliters or about a shot of rum, 2 whole cloves, 2 tablespoons or about 60 milliliters of white rock sugar. And you're gonna need an extra orange for garnishing. You can optionally drizzle some rum onto the orange slices. The key here is temperature. Alcohol boils off at 78 degrees Celsius or 172 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't wanna boil the alcohol off. If you wanna keep the aromatics in place, you want to keep it at around 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. Plus, at that temperature, you won't be burning the crap out of your guests. Monitor the temperature using this. This is the Dot by Thermoworks. It's a workhorse. I use this in my restaurant. I have about 20 of these things. They're great, and there's a link to that down below. White wine Gluhwein is going to be far more appealing to your guests than red wine Gluhwein. And Rieslings in general have less alcohol in them than most other white wines. The sweeter the Riesling, the less alcohol that it has. A sweet Riesling may have as little as 5% alcohol, which is the equivalent of about your average store-bought beer. So if you're using a sweet Riesling, cut back on the rock sugar. You don't need it. Oh, that smells absolutely heavenly. You could actually smell the notes of Riesling coming away from the glass along with orange and clove. It really is far more fruity and less bold than a red wine Gluhwein. This stuff is like Christmas in a bottle. This is a sweet spice rum from Barbados. And by the way, anything that I'm showcasing here today has not been sponsored by anybody. It is truly delicious on its own, but it's also refreshing cold. And if you want to make it a yummy creamy cocktail, just add a little splash of some organic heavy cream into it. I'm not really into cocktails, but if I were ever to have alcohol for the first time, I would probably go with this next to a fireplace, neat. I would imagine that it probably tastes really good like this also. Bourbon and winter seem to go hand in hand. Inevitably, you're gonna have a guest who really likes bourbon, and this one is quite unique. How did this bottle get so empty? This is 1792 full proof. It's quite affordable, but what sets this apart is how smooth it is, because it's 125 proof. This is remarkably inexpensive for its quality. Even if you choose not to make this drink, make sure you make this butter because it is delicious. This bourbon is perfect for this hot, buttery bourbon drink. If you don't have an electric mixer, that's fine. You can mix this butter easily at room temperature with a rubber spatula to 1 cup or 236 milliliters of grass-fed and preferred organic salted butter. Add 1 cup of organic cane sugar, 2 teaspoons or 10 milliliters of organic molasses, 4 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of organic maple syrup, half a teaspoon or 10 milliliters of ground organic allspice, and a teaspoon or 20 milliliters of organic ground cinnamon. And mix it well. Add 4 ounces or 120 milliliters of boiling water to 2 ounces or 60 milliliters of 1792 bourbon, and a tablespoon or 15 milliliters of the butter. The great thing about this drink is that you can have the butter made in advance, keep it in the refrigerator, boil up some hot water, throw it in a thermos, and now it's not even a burden to make at a party. All right, I'll taste it. Oh my God. Man, if that isn't the quintessential winter drink, I don't know what is. The whipped cream that I added to this has no sugar in it. It's just straight whipped heavy cream, and it is off the charts. This drink is not only delicious, your home will smell like a Christmas winter wonderland. You can make this in a crock pot. Just set the temperature on low, or what is around 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. You want to use an organic cider, or otherwise you'll be drinking pesticide soup. To a half gallon or just under 2 liters of organic apple cider, simply add 3 cinnamon sticks, the wedges of about half an organic orange, 4 cloves, and a 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of Amarena cherries. Please don't use maraschino cherries. You want to cook this on a very low flame or on low in your crock pot, and do not boil it because your cider will curdle. This is truly delicious. Everybody I know who's come over and tried this during the holidays absolutely loves the taste, and it is so welcoming when they walk into your house and they get that scent of cinnamon and orange and apples. It screams of Christmas and holiday spirit. It's so delicious. It's not excessively sweet. It's a must-have. The slower you cook it, the better it tastes. And this is a public service announcement. Do the right thing. Take a cab, hire an Uber, get a designated driver, walk, be responsible, do the right thing, and your holidays will be significantly better. Cheers.